All she has to do is make a phone call,
Yeah.
say some things. No one
He's
ever
trying to
checks.
kill
No
me.
one ever
Yeah.
verifies. No one ever checks.
Yeah.
His life gets torn apart.
We have more than enough evidence across the globe to go, hey, we keep going down this road, things are going to end up here.
But a young man told me his story of basically having been in an abusive relationship, and he told his then girlfriend, "It's over. I'm leaving. Tomorrow morning I'm packing my stuff and I'm gone." During the night, 6 police officers raid his home, arrest him, put him under police guard in hospital. Regional area, small hospital. Apparently, they didn't put up any of the curtains or screens. They left him kind of on display so that everyone would see him there. Took his guns. He was a registered gun owner, so they took his guns, took his safe, took all of that stuff. Then, and basically he's the devil, right? He's that's the presumption, right? And he was swatted by his soon-to-be ex, essentially, right? All she has to do is make a phone call, say some things. No one ever checks. No one ever verifies. No one ever checks.
Yeah.
His life gets torn apart. Now, what's happened since then is all charges have been dropped. The restraining order has been dropped. The psychological evaluation came back completely clean. His guns have now been returned to him or are being returned to him. I don't recall. I don't recall that part of the email. Basically, when they actually slowed down and took a fucking breath, they went, "Hang on, we've just been used as a weapon." And if that guy had reacted to his door being kicked in or to the all of a sudden there's a bunch of people in his home, he could end up dead. Right. And the police would say, "Oh, justified shooting. We were on the hunt of a hardened DV abuser threatening to kill his wife. Blah blah blah." Right. And so we have this genuine problem. You're not wrong. Assholes like the one you showed before, right? This is masculinity, big bodybuilding, testosterone, roid rage, murdering his girlfriend. That's real, tragically.
And that's why,
but also the psychopathic woman
I agree.
that weaponizes the state against her completely innocent boyfriend is real.
You're kind of proving my point, though, because I believe the response that the police had for a potential DV is accurate, but... Because if it were that bloke, the bodybuilder, then it was the right reaction. However, the issue with women who are making these fake allegations, we talked about this the other day with the footballer, they also, if it's been proven that they're wrong or they're lied or there's some kind of malice there, they should be jailed for that.
But what you're missing in that argument is that in the context of the man who's falsely accused, the process is the punishment.
Oh,
and
no, I agree.
Go through all of that first.
I agree.
I think if we actually just allowed victims and potential victims to arm themselves, then we wouldn't have to have the police on a hair trigger. We wouldn't have to have the police coming in with 6 dudes with guns if we actually just let women arm themselves, and everybody, but women included, arm themselves so that they're not completely defenseless.
I agree with you, but the problem is the real world will never allow that. Australia will never allow it.
Not with that attitude, it won't.
Well, I mean, I'm fighting for it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, how much worse does it have to get before we get to that point? Sadly, I think it has to get quite a lot worse.
Well, I said this on Monday.
But I do believe we can get to the point where it is so bad that people go, this just is not working and we need to find the nuclear option.
The thing that really frustrates me is we have enough evidence around the world to see what happens.
Yeah.
Look what's happening in Sweden. There's no-go zones in what was a very ethno-nationalist country up until a few years ago.
Yeah.
Now it's overrun with migrants who have their own no-go zones. And rape is through the roof. We're seeing it in London with Pakistani rape gangs. We're seeing it in South Africa. Do you remember the rape crisis of South Africa?
Yeah.
That hasn't gone. That's still a thing. And we've talked about South Africa heaps of times. So we have more than enough evidence across the globe to go, hey, we keep going down this road, things are going to end up here. But it doesn't matter. And when you say how much worse does it have to get, it doesn't matter anymore because it's going to get there. And then we'll react to it. Australians need to learn the hard way. It's the same with socialism. No amount of you and I arguing about logic, reason, or, approaching things with critical thinking is relevant because these people are like, oh, well, I don't believe that.
Okay, but I guess part of the point that I'm trying to make, though, with this vibe shift is we've seen the woman use pepper spray, hasn't been charged, all right? We've watched attitudes shifting in the media responses to the police and to crimes and to victims of crime. It's going to be very interesting to watch what happens from this shooting that I was just talking about before, from that guy in Queensland that you brought up, used a knife, took a knife with him when it was not necessarily justified in the sense that he wasn't certain that the person...
Do Queensland have the same laws we do with knife crime? Knives?
with knives, I don't know specifically, but in terms of self-defense, I believe that's pretty universal around Australia. Is this
We're not
idea
allowed
of
to carry knives.
the idea of
Oh, okay,
proportionality,
yeah.
right? You go and get a knife before you know that the other person has a knife. You're the one who escalated,
Yeah.
right?
I did not know that. I think I've said that on the podcast. I did not know that you could not carry a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous.
I had no idea that was a law.
That happened when I was in my late teens, I think, in Victoria, and I used to have a Leatherman with me all the time
Yeah.
because I used to help out with a lot of different sort of gigs and do technical stuff, audio engineering and so forth. And I just always had a Leatherman with me all the
Yeah.
time. And then all of a sudden, that's illegal, ridiculous. So I'm observing the vibe shift. It's not going to be anywhere near enough, but I'm hopeful that as the crime situation escalates, as the police become so much more obviously incapable of dealing with this, and as the government
they've got their
becomes
priorities.
so much more unwilling, I think we might get to the point where the rage
Yeah.
drives people to say, hey, we are going to start arming ourselves even if you say no.
Yeah, I think so, and that kind of resistance matters when you have. It only matters when there's volume. So it
Correct.
can't just be
Correct.
like these little situations where it was the Gotham City sex work, or the
Yeah.
receptionist and this guy in the paper that you were talking about. It needs to be often.
But also, when those people then do get charged, the rest of us need to rally around them.
Yeah.
Because lots of people might have armed themselves, but only a few actually get attacked. So there's
Yeah.
only a few instances at any one moment in time that's hitting the courts, and
Yeah.
the rest of us need to get around. Same as what's happening with the VNI, the power lines and stuff in country Victoria, not to go onto a whole new topic. But farmers are rallying around each other. When these guys show up to walk onto one person's farm, it's not the people from that farm that come to the fence and say, nah, bugger off.
Yeah.
It's all the farms in the area coming together. And I'm preparing a story on that at the moment. But yes, that touch one, touch all kind of mentality, the union mentality, is absolutely valid when it comes to civil disobedience. And as I've said many, many times before, the limit of government power is defined by the limit of our obedience. So the question is, when are people going to reach the limit of their obedience?
Well, you've survived another episode and you're still here watching. So at this point, you should probably go and subscribe. And if you don't, you are going to be at the wrath of Spicy Carls. And whilst you're there, empty your pockets. There's a buy us a coffee button, and we'd really appreciate it so that I can show up every day and just make Topher's life an absolute living hell. Much appreciated.